Hey, Moondog here. The Vortex Strike Eagle is one of the best long-range scopes you can buy for around $1,000. Well, that was true 5 years ago, but it's not 2020 anymore. And in the intervening 5 years, there have been a lot of advances, especially with budget optics. So, my question is, how well does a new budget optic, a Monstrum Challenger, compare against one of the best scopes from 5 years ago? Now, my guess is the Vortex Strike Eagle is going to be the better scope, hands down, but I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments what you think of budget scopes nowadays, and let me know at the end if my tests either surprised you or confirmed your hypothesis. So, let's get started. Let's start by comparing what you get in the box with each of the scopes. The Vortex comes with a few extra accessories like a sunshade and throw lever. The Challenger, like many Monstrum scopes, comes with extra accessories, including its own set of rings, but no sunshade. Next, let's compare the specs side by side. There are a lot that are identical. Both are 5 to 25 power, 56mm first focal plane scopes. Both have illuminated reticles and have about the same eye relief. The notable differences are the Strike Eagle has a 34mm tube, while the Challenger has a 30mm tube. The Strike Eagle can focus on targets as close as 15 yards, while the Challenger has a minimum focus of 25 yards. And the Challenger is about 6.5 ounces heavier. Let's start with the Strike Eagle and take a look at its features and overall build quality, which is excellent. Its illumination knob is powered by a 2032 coin battery and has 11 steps of illumination with an off in between. The parallax knob turns smoothly and has those Vortex-style V-cut ridges for grip. Our elevation and windage turrets are locking. You pull up to unlock. Loud and tactile positive, with just a little bit of wiggle, but I wouldn't call it slop in between each of the clicks. The clicks are definitive, though they feel kind of like a little plasticky, like zip tie clicks. Not bad, but still, I just note that. And our windage, same, nice and loud, tactile positive. Just the barest hint of wiggle in between each of the clicks. Each click adjustment is a quarter MOA, and the turrets can be removed to reset them to 0. And it comes with a zero-stop ring which can be installed under the elevation turret. The magnification ring turns smoothly, but it does come with a throw lever should you prefer to run it with one. Overall, the Strike Eagle is an excellent example of Vortex's solid build quality and design. Next, let's take a look at the Monstrum Challenger, which looks like it has a larger objective, but only because it has a slightly narrower 30mm tube. The illumination is powered by a 2032 coin battery. It has 6 steps of illumination intensity with an off in between. The parallax turns smoothly, though is a bit stiffer than the Strike Eagle's, and has a very different kind of texturing on the knob, which makes it easier to separate it from the illumination when turning that turret. We have our elevation and windage, and the elevation is non-locking, but that does have a zero stop. You can hear it is quite audible and tactile positive, with just a hair, just a bit of slop in between each of the clicks. The turrets can be unscrewed to reset them to 0, and interestingly, the elevation turret has 2 turret caps, so to speak. Underneath that cap is the actual screw that keeps down this turret. So when you want to reset this turret, you have to unscrew this screw that allows you to pop this off and set it to 0 once you have your reticle zeroed out. But this also is how you access the set screw for the zero stop. Each click of the turret is a quarter MOA or 0.1 MRAD depending on which version of the scope that you get. Our windage does lock. You have to pull up to unlock it, and it is also quite loud. Maybe not as tactile positive as the elevation. and a little bit of slop. The magnification ring turns smoothly and it has a built-in fin to help with the leverage without having to add a throw lever. Overall build quality is good, though the turrets don't seem as nicely milled as the Vortex Strike Eagle. But more importantly, how do these two scopes compare optically? Let's get these mounted up and take a look through the glass. Before we get started with the test, I'd just like to take a quick break here to talk about this episode's sponsor, Aura. For the cost of just a VPN, I'm getting a whole suite of security services, including $1 million in identity theft insurance, and they're even removing me from those damn data broker listings. Use my link, aura.com/moondog, and you can try them for 14 days, free. And if you use that link, you're helping to support this channel. You know, identity fraud is a real thing, and with AI, it's all too easy to spoof your identity. That's why you should try out Aura. Alright, let's get back to the tests. We're looking at the peak of Mount Davidson, approximately 1,400 yards away, through both scopes at their lowest power of 5 to get our best overall image through the glass. Both offer good color rendition, though there is more noticeable chromatic aberration in the Challenger. And the Strike Eagle is sharp from center all the way out to the outer edge. There is some distortion and softening around the outer edge of the Challenger. Both scopes are first focal plane, and a common complaint is that the center of a first focal plane reticle is hard to see at low power, though the Challenger manages to be pretty decently visible at low power. Now let's take a look at both scopes at 12 power, around where most people use their scopes. Given this cluttered, complicated background, the Challenger's reticle is more visible and usable at this magnification. I brought both scopes up to their maximum magnification of 25 power. You can see the Strike Eagle is noticeably brighter and offers a bit more detail in the image. In both scopes, I can make out the trail marker sign at the top of the hill, which is about a 3-foot sign, which is a good proxy for an IPSC target at this distance. And here we can compare the reticles under illumination at their maximum intensity. I've taken both scopes to the gun range so that we can look at a reference target board 100 yards away. At its lowest power of 5, both scopes are fairly similar in overall brightness and color rendition, though there is more noticeable chromatic aberration in the Challenger. I've brought both scopes up to their maximum magnification of 25, and we're looking at the two reference targets at the bottom of the board. The overall image at maximum magnification is still bright enough that I can make out details in the shadows. I could see the texture of the bullet pockmarks on the steel backstop behind the target board. We can see the reactive sticker in the center of the paper target on the bottom left corner of the board, along with two .22 caliber holes below the reactive sticker. In the Air Force resolution chart on the bottom right, with a Strike Eagle, I can make out both horizontal and vertical lines down to element 5 or 6 in group -1, whilst in the Challenger, I can only make out elements 1 or 2 in that same group. I'd like to thank Monstrum for sending out the Challenger for me to test, and I'd like to thank my buddy Gerald for lending me his Strike Eagle to compare it against. Now, a lot of brands don't like it when you compare their products to a competitor head-to-head, and so I might get in trouble for this video. Do me a favor and say something positive in the comment section, and tag it with @MonstrumTactical, and just let them know that I was being fair in this video. I'm not shitposting about their products, nor am I simping for them. So, like I said in the beginning of this video, I predicted that the Strike Eagle would be the better option. And it pretty much is. It is brighter, clearer, sharper, certainly from center to the outer edge. The Challenger was a little bit soft on the outer edge. Now both of them have pretty similar eye reliefs and eye boxes. The big difference I'd have to say is that the Strike Eagle has a greater range of adjustments, and the reticles are a bit different. If I was hunting, I think I'd prefer the Challenger with its slightly thicker reticle, especially in the center cruciform. If I was doing long-range precision target shooting, I would prefer the Strike Eagle because it has the thinner reticle and a very small central dot, floating dot on there. So those are, you know, everybody's preferences in reticles is very different. So, you know, you may prefer one over the other. Now, the biggest difference, of course, between these two is the price. The Strike Eagle has a street price somewhere around $600–700. The Challenger is just under $200. That's right, $200. That is a huge price difference. So if you gave me $700 to pick in either one of these scopes, I would pick the Challenger and use the rest of the money to buy ammo. But that's the way I roll. How do you roll? Let me know in the comments section. And if you're interested in either of these scopes, I've included product links as well as more information in my full written review at moondogindustries.com. Use the links in that article to help support this channel. And you can always help support this channel by simply hitting that like button and the subscribe button and notification bell buttons. Those are absolutely free. They don't charge you to be a subscriber to my channel. So I appreciate you taking the time to press those buttons and taking the time to watch this video. God bless. Moondog out. Hey, I'd like to know what you thought of this video. Leave me a comment or chat with me on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, MeWe, Instagram, or Locals. And if you want to see all of my videos, go to moondogindustries.com.